Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the player ratings. Chelsea 2, Everton 0. The run continues at Stamford Bridge. Unfortunately, let's just get into it, eh? Let's just get into it. Jordan Pickford in goal. Wasn't brilliant. Wasn't terrible. Although I do feel he's having a little bit of a wobbly sort of. He looked a little bit less sure of himself in some games recently. Just like little minor things. There was a thing in the second half where ball was coming over to catch it, and he doesn't catch it cleanly, and he drops in. It bounced off one of the players and went out for goal kicks. I just feel like those things weren't really happening. Haven't been really happening, and I've just sort of creeped in to his game in the last month. Probably, I don't know whether it was the Newcastle game or what, but just like little moments like that, I've creeped into his game. Yeah, so total 3 saves, 1 save inside the box, 1 punch, 1 run out, 1 high claim. Still looking a little bit nervy off set pieces. Not really. I don't know. Doesn't really fill me with loads of confidence off set pieces, I must admit. But yeah. Pickford, I would give a 6.5 for today's game. Jacob Brien. I thought he had his moments today. I thought he did all right in moments today. Just show you his heat map there. As you can see, his heat map there. He was getting forward. He was getting into their half, trying to get deep into their half, especially late on in the first half, where I thought he did quite well going. But listen, he's not. I have to caveat this all the time. He's not a right back. When you're asking him to get up and down the wing, you know, modern right backs are wingers who can do a little bit of defending, who, you know, work in tandem with the wide player. And listen, as I said, Jake today, he's tackles. He's won 1 out of 2 tackles. He's won 3 out of 3 ground duels. He's won 1 out of 2 aerial duels. So defensive, not terrible. And going forward, he had some good moments as well. Some good crosses, or certainly some good play on the edge of the box. 5 crosses, only 1 of them accurate. 74% of passes completed in the opposition half. And it's done all right. Not sensational by any means. But I thought he did all right for a spell. But for me, we need a proper right back to play in that role, to get forward, to overlap, to give the wide play some space and be able to get up and down that wing. So, as I said, I don't think Jake had a terrible game. It's just not his position, like I have to say most weeks. So, Jake, I'd give a 6.8. Michalenko on the other side. To show you this heat map there. Not as good as Jake, but there were a few moments. It's more like late on where he was getting up and down the pitch. I just think, listen, Michalenko is what he is. He's a defensive defender, but for both goals come down the left. Now, not going to point fingers at him solely, because it was a combination of factors. Certainly for the first goal, he doesn't get helped by his centre-back, Michael Keane, and also by Idrissa Gana Gueye. And I do think he would be better if he had someone with pace next to him. But for the second one, he just gets totally skinned for the second one. He won 5 out of 7 ground duels today, which is good. But we all watched it. We all saw it. Won 1 out of 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 clearances, 3 recoveries. But he's just not quick enough, and he's not good enough going forward. Towards the end of the game, he had a couple of little moments, certainly the one in the last minute. But he'll never be good enough, I don't think, for a Premier League player. That's my own opinion. I don't think he'll ever be good enough. for where we want to go. He will be a casualty of a team trying to improve, and that's all right. That's fine. He could become a squad player, or Everton could move him on. Certainly with the contract situation, that's fine. That's football. We bought him. We bought him when we were in a low moment, and he's improved as he's had games. So, but for me, I think his time has come. And I think games where he passed to play better teams just show that, basically. So, Mykolenko, I'd give a 5 for today's performance. The two centre-backs, Taki, pretty much what you get from Taki week in and week out. Won 3 out of 5 ground duels. Only won 1 out of 4 aerial duels, which is unusual for him. I thought he could have done better. Certainly for the second goal. I don't think he likes playing against movement. I think he'd rather play against players like last week, where he knows what he's up against. I don't think he's great against players who are interchanging. And him and Keane struggled today for the most part. He nearly got caught as well. He fell over on one, didn't he, in the first half, trying to play out. Fell over on one, could have cost us, but then their player fell over. So Taki, I would give 6 for today, and Michael Keane, 2 interceptions, 5 clearances, won 5 out of 6 aerial duels, some a little bit better. But again, when the level goes up and they get, Keane I think he was might have been marginally better than Taki today, not by much. They do really show their speed and how good they are when we're playing against teams like that. So I would give Michael Keane a 6.1. I think that sooner we get Branthwaite back for that pace, the better. I know, someone asked me when I said that today, and we were like, well, what difference? Well, he's quicker. He reads the game better. He's better on the ball. He's good in the air. Having been a quick defender, so you can cover the ground. Certainly for someone like Mykolenko, that helps so much, because you can cut when you see Mykolenko in danger. You can get back and help. You can cut across. You can double up. I just don't think Keane does that. Can't do that because he hasn't got the pace. So he does what he does, which is sit in the middle. Doesn't quite have that versatility. And that's what we need. We need him back massively. Garner came back for the game. I thought he could have done better for both goals. I really do. I think he could have tracked better. I think you could tell that he hadn't played for a few weeks. The manager obviously put him in because he's going to be without him for a month. He went with it. Things could have been different. Maybe if, Dewsbury Hall gets injured and that changes the makeup of the team. But 85% pass stats, defending wise, won 3 out of 9 tackles, won 10 out of 13 ground duels, which is what he's there to do. 1 clearance, 1 block shot, 2 recoveries, and 2 fouls. And again, that's, people have seen people before the game questioning why he was back for the game. He was back for the game because our squad is at a real stretching point, and we've seen that with Dewsbury Hall go off injured. That's what happens. That's what happens when you can't rotate players in and out the team. We all want the same players playing week in and week out. Of course we do. But when you've got squad players who are as good as those players, like a Chelsea, it has. That's why you swap them in and out. You freshen the team up so players don't get injuries. And that's what David Moyes was trying to do with Garner today, was freshen the whole thing up by putting him in and then leaving somebody out. Now, the irony is he leaves Alcaraz in, he comes back, he's back on the pitch within 15 minutes. And that's sadly because Dewsbury Hall picks an injury up. But, you can understand why he did that, because especially with Garner being on one yellow card away from suspension, you have to keep freshening things up. You have to keep making changes. The Premier League is so tough on players. It's such a slog for the 19 plus minutes that we play in those games. And you'll see that from players. They will be all fatigued. Players will be playing through injuries as well. So when you're playing, and this is everyone, by the way, this will be Mikalenko, this will be Michael Keane, which we've already seen, this will be Tarkowski. They get through the game, but it doesn't mean they're fit. And that's why it's important. So, Adrissa could have done better for both the goals, but again, you see massive overreactions. Seen massive overreactions of people. Oh, they're done, they're finished. Like, they're starting to slow down, blah, blah, blah. Come on, use your heads, people. So, Adrissa, I would give a 6.2 for today. James Garner. I mean, number one, he never got booked and the manager took him off at the right time. So that's good. That's the starting point. 93% pass accuracy, 38 out of 41 passes. Went about his business sort of quietly today. Didn't really do anything dramatic. 67 touches of the ball, only one unsuccessful touch. Didn't really do anything dramatic. Didn't really stand out, just done his job. One tackle, 1 out of 2. 9 ground duels, 6 ground duels, 1 out of 9. 9 recoveries, 1 block shot, 1 interception. Just went about his business. Done what he was sort of asked to do. Again, his role will have changed when Dewsbury Hall went off. Just went and done his job, basically. And that's it. And that's all you can ask from James Garner at times. There'll be games where he shines a little bit more. And today was just about doing his job. And I think for the most part, he's done his job. Just got on with it. So James Garner would give a 7 for today. Obviously, Dewsbury Hall went off injured. He's had 100% pass accuracy up to that point. 5 out of 5. Won 1 ground duel out of 1, and it only had 1 tackle, which he didn't win. But sadly picked up the injury, and yeah, major blow. Obviously, we took him off straight away. There was no messing about. Yeah, what can you do? We've just got to see what it is. Hope that it's the best case scenario, whatever that looks like. And just get on with it. Because the injuries happen. They happen to every team. But as I said, it's about having that squad that can deal with those injuries. And we just don't at the moment. We don't. So that's what it's all about. It's getting to a level where we have a squad where you don't want injuries, but you can cope with them. And that's where Champions League teams are. That's what they have. We don't. We're nowhere near that. And we don't have that. So Dewsbury Hall, I would give a 6 for today. Illiman and Jai probably come closest to scoring for us today, hitting the post. Didn't have a particularly very good game, sadly, with his last game before going away. 81% pass accuracy in the final third. 1 shot on target, hit the woodwork once, and 1 shot blocked from his 3 shots. Dribble success is 1 out of 3, 50 touches. Today it was just, I don't know, he looked a little bit, he's looked increasingly more tired as the weeks have gone on, Won 4 out of his 11 ground duels, which is really low for Njai. He's just looked increasingly more tired, I think, and a little bit less effective in the last couple of weeks. Again, a player who probably could have done with the rest. A player who probably, I don't know whether this is the best thing for him going to the African nations in terms for him, whether it'll freshen him up. But he'll still have to play a lot of football, but it'll be different, obviously. Change of scenery, whatever. I mean, obviously, I don't want to see him go away for a month, regardless. But it was a quieter game from him today. So, never had the opportunity to, just at one moment where it looked it just needed to hit a different piece of grass and but it just hit the post square on, and that could have given us just that little late rally. But apart from that, there wasn't too many moments from Njai, sadly, today. So Njai would give it a 6. Jack Grealish, he was a little bit frustrating today, wasn't he? He was a little bit like, I think these are the games where, to me, when people talk about him for England, where you look at a game like this and you see all the youth and the pace of the wingers they had, and you look at Jack and you see that's the difference. They're the level I think players need to be at to be playing international football. I think that's why Jack plays for us and he isn't playing for Manchester City, is because of that kind of pace is the difference, where Jack slows things down and maybe wants more time and more touches. And I think that's the reason why he's no longer at Manchester City and why he'll no longer be in the England squad. There was one chance there, was it, in the first half? It was just before they scored, wasn't it? Where he was coming down the left and got past the last defender. And I don't know whether he could have pulled it back, but I don't know what he's ended up doing. It was so frustrating. It was a massive opportunity for an equaliser. And he hasn't took it. Really big moment in the game, because they went down the other pitch straight away and scored. 4 shots. 1 on target, 1 blocked, 2 big chances missed from Jack. There was one obviously in the second half with the ball coming across, and he sort of takes it with the outside of his foot rather than his left foot. I don't know whether he was trying to shoot or whether he was trying to push it across for the 2 players in the box, but it was such a big moment as well. So frustrating, those 2 moments. 36 touches, 1 dribble, successful out of 1, 3 unsuccessful touches. He was just a little bit frustrating today. He just frustrated me. You can see what he wants to do. It's just not always there. It's just not always there. For Jack. And as I said, that's the difference for me. The manager obviously took him off at the end and give Tyler Dibblin a go. Obviously trying to get every last drop out of Njai, and obviously given Tyler Dibblin a little go. Maybe that's a prelude to what we're going to see next week. We don't know. Obviously, Dwight McNeil never got on, but Jack, yeah, just a little bit frustrating. If he just took that chance, I don't know. It's a big moment. Really frustrating, and he can be frustrating at times. So, yeah. What could have been? What could have been in that moment? Certainly, if we'd gone to 1-1 there instead of 2-0 just moments later. So Jack, I would give a 6.3 for. Tierney Barry didn't really have much to feed on at all today. Just that one big opportunity, sort of with the goalies took it away from him, went right through his legs. 11 touches all game, 3 unsuccessful touches. I've said this a lot in the last few weeks. We have to learn how to play with Tierney Barry. What is his style? How does he want to play? What are we not doing? Are we not moving the ball quick enough in front of him? Are we not getting the crosses in? Are we not providing him with the service. I don't think we are providing him with the service. Don't get me wrong. I think he can do better, but I just don't think we're providing him with the service to get him into the right places. No shots at all today. Yeah, was taken off after, what was this, 68 minutes. We just never got him anything in anywhere today, but he's got to do better as well. He's got to get more into the game. To only have 11 touches, that's not particularly great, are they? Only won 2 out of 6 aerial duels as well, so not a particularly good game for Tieno Barry. Not much to say about him. He just didn't do anything at all in the game. Just show you his heat map there. He's like barely in the box at all. Barely got into the box. So not a particularly good game for Tieno Barry. I'd give him a 5 for today. So not particularly good from Tieno Barry. The subs, obviously, Carlos Alcaraz was on the pitch for 75 minutes. Again, didn't really do loads, to be honest. Nearly helped them score 10 minutes after he came on. With a terrible back pass. Just one shot and one shot on target. One shot blocked. Yeah, I don't know whether it was the right sub, to be honest. I think maybe bringing Tim Itabuna might have been the right sub, but the manager had to make a quick decision. 79% pass accuracy today. 54 touches, 4 unsuccessful touches, 1 dribble unsuccessful, one tackle out of 1, 2 out of 7 ground duels. Alcaraz I'd give a 6 for today. Never really saw him at his best again. And again, this is the difference, isn't it? When you go to these games, you've got everyone's got to step up, and no one did today. Beto, probably very similar to Tieno Barry. No shots again. So again, we haven't got our centre forwards into any kind of good areas. 100% pass accuracy, 3 out of 3. 10 touches. So we had 10 touches where Barry had 11. So he's probably got into the game marginally better. So Beto I give a 6, but again, hasn't really done anything. Tyler Dibblin got on for the last 10 minutes or so, the last 15 minutes. Very interesting that he come on, because he obviously never brought Dwight McNeil on. So is that an indication of what the manager's going to do? Is he going to play him? Touches, 5 out of 5, 100% pass accuracy. 4 of them in the opposition half. 9 touches of the ball, 1 unsuccessful. Again, just a small cameo without actually seeing what he can do. 1 out of 1 tackle, 2 out of 3 ground duels. So is this the time to unleash the lad? Is this the time now to give the lad a go, to push him on? Are we going to see him play next week against Arsenal? I have to wait and see, but we'll see. Obviously, we bought him to play, and it would just make total sense if he's playing rather than Dwight McNeil. Surely now is the time to give him a run, time to push him on. What he has to do is he has to grab all the games and be prepared and get into games and start doing what we bought him for, which is picking the ball up and running at people and not being scared of losing the ball. I think when he's played so far, he's been very safe. He's been very cautious. So we need to see him picking the ball up and running at people. So let's see if that happens. He mightn't even play. Who knows? But the manager has given us a small indication that he will give him a go. We'll have to wait and see whether that happens or not. So, Tyler Dibbling, I would give a 6.2. Tirmidh Boonham, accurate passes, 1 out of 1, 100%. Pass accuracy. One aerial duel, had one ground duel and lost it, and no tackles. So, didn't do anything really when he came on. 4 touches of the ball. Yeah, there you go. I don't even know if I could give him a score, if I'm honest, because he didn't do anything in the game. I just give him a 5.8. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hate these games because, well, don't hate them, but what can you say? We turned up. Well, we turned up to the ground. We didn't turn up in the game. And it's just very Everton-like. But there's no point being all dead angry about it because Everton have got levels to go up as a club, not as a team, as a club. And that means buying players. And that's the next thing we have to do. We have to buy players. We are where we are. We are exactly where we are. And listen, it's probably around where we thought we were going to be. We'll know where we are in 19 games, won't we? Once we've played 19 games, then that's the best marker for once we've played everyone once, even though we won't have played Brentford, obviously, as I was saying. And we can... I think we are where we are right now. We in terms of... We're probably exactly where we should be right now. 24 points from, 16 games. And we'll see. Next week's going to be very, very tough. And then we'll know when we play Burnley, and once we've played Forest again, we'll know where we are. So, yeah, no point getting too disheartened about it. We've been on a decent run, and we've just been beaten by another Champions League team. And that seems to be the way it is this season, isn't it? We're getting beat by teams who are in the Champions League. We play another one next week. So, I think some people go too overboard when we lose games like this and think it should be better. But I don't think anyone really stunk today. I don't think anyone was like terrible. I think you can watch that game and go, yeah, this is exactly where we are. So hopefully we invest in January and then we invest again in the summer. We'll wait and see. Hopefully before the end of the year, we pick up at least another 4 points, at least. Let's hope. If we pick up another 4 points and we get to 19 games and we've got, say, 28 points, then I think that'll be a good first half of the season. But I'm certainly not losing my head on today. It wasn't great, but I'm definitely not losing my head on today. So there you go. Make sure you check out Baz's videos and make sure you check out The Final Word on Monday. And I'll see you all later.